Well, hello again, and this is Creating Healing Gardens Part 4, and this is the third of the key principles, and that's to do with nature's harmonies and laws. So let's have a look at this. Now, when we walk into our gardens, we can see the extraordinary growth and balance of nature and interaction of everything at all levels as they blend and mix in endless, incredible combinations that we can see around us all the days of our lives. And somehow it's nature's harmonies and laws that underlie and create all this in our world. So what might these harmonies or laws be that underlie everything? Well, let's have a look at some examples, because you can see that our universe is comprised of two things, energy and matter, the same everywhere. The earth plants are only of one of two types, deciduous or evergreen. There are four elements needed for plant life and growth: air, water, earth, and fire, which you could call energy. And these are the four elements of the ancients. Now you might say the four elements of modern science. So here we're going to be highlighting all the laws of nature that we're going to be working with in healing gardens. So let's go through them and have a look at them. Well, first of all, there's duality in our universe. You might say the law of two. All matter originates from two particles, one positive and one negative. And all life only has two sexes on our planet, and most probably, of course, in the whole universe. In humans, there are two blood systems, venal and arterial, that have different functions. And there are two blood cells within them, red and white, that again have two different functions. And we have two nervous systems too. So duality is in the structure of the universe and also in the structure of ourselves. And it is also in plants too. Plants breathe in and out, and they breathe two gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide, and it changes from day to night. And so indeed humans breathe in oxygen and plants breathe in carbon dioxide and change it into oxygen for us. So Kum has a theme as well, which is based on two ancient balancing healing colours of green and yellow. Green for energizing and yellow for calming, the two basic principles behind all healing. Then there are three influences in nature that are to do with energies, you might say. Now there are many of these, but when we're considering our gardens, we're going to consider three great universal influences of the sun, the moon, and the earth as they rotate around the sky. The moon, more subtle perhaps, but still affecting very strongly the growing cycle of plants too. Indeed, we now know that all life on Earth would be virtually impossible without our sun, of course, but also our moon too, to create the necessary stability. We need all three, the Earth, the sun and the moon, for life to exist here. And all our plants too, amazingly, use only three things for most of their growth: water, light, and carbon dioxide to photosynthesize the foods that they need. And using the energy of light, plants can create chemical energy from water and carbon. It's amazing, really, isn't it? And then there are four elements of the ancients, which is air, fire, water, and earth. Fire perhaps could be described best as energy, but they're now known to science to be critical requirements for growth, as we mentioned before. And these are also found in the cycles of growth, the cycles of the season of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And you might also say cold, dry, wet, and warm. And in these cycles, it allows the plants to grow. And also you'll find there are plants that connect or live better in cold, dry, wet or warm conditions. And this is part of the skill of gardening, to place the plants in the right place so they can grow happily. And those are the 4 elements that are critical, or some of the issues that are critical. And then we come to the fivefold design. And this is particularly found in the pentagram form of the human body. And we know, of course, that we have 5 major organs. And it's also in nature found in the structure of many flowers and leaves. The fivefold design is by far the most common structure in the leaves and flowers of plants. And indeed, also it's found in the ancient 5-color well-being systems of green, yellow, blue, red, and white that connect to the Chinese healing systems and the Indian Ayurvedic healing systems, which are all based on the number 5, that all connect to the pentagram structure and thus to the human being. So if you're considering important aspects of human well-being, you're going to be considering the fivefold design, and we'll be looking at that in our garden designs as well. And then, of course, there's the famous, the wonderful spectrum, the rainbow. And this is the 7-fold law as a fundamental principle of light and color, that white light breaks down into 7 colors, 7 energy bands, 7 natures of energy. And it, of course, is found in the colors of flowers. It's found in the human structures too, as we've noticed before, and found in our universe, in the fact that light energy suffuses the whole universe. And so it's one of the most important laws that we know. And we'll be looking at that not only in terms of the colors of flowers, but also the energy nature of different plants as they connect and relate to the 7-fold energy law of the rainbow. And finally, critical for our gardens too is the cycle of 12, because it's fundamental to the lives of our gardens as they cycle through the 12 changing months of the year. Different plants appear, there are different natures, different aspects of the seasons, all important things like this. But also humans not only connected the number 12 to the seasons, they also connected it to the universe and to stars as well, because they had the 12-fold rotating zodiac of constellations, which affected the world, affected plants, and of course affected human life as well. So they saw that number 12 as affecting the universe, affecting nature, and affecting humans as well. So in our gardens, we might well want to consider creating designs that link to the 12 stars and the 12 months and the spiritual connections of that. So, Healing Gardens is going to be drawing its inspiration from these nature's harmonies and laws, and we're going to be working with them to create and plant our garden spaces to enhance their healing properties, and explaining how they can do that as we work through the examples. So now let's finally, as part of our key principles, consider how intimately our feelings are linked to our own health and well-being, and how using our feelings to identify the right balances in our gardens can be so important to our well-being. Now, incidentally, if you wish to explore nature's laws in more depth, there's a whole separate series of presentations on TFC's website about them, looking at each one and going into much more depth and explaining where it's found all over the world and the universe. And finally, another poem, part of a poem from Edward Thomas, about the changing of the seasons. And here's a snowy picture from Coombe again. Over the land, freckled with snow half thawed, the speculating rooks at their nests cawed, and saw from elm tops, delicate as flowers of grass, what we below could not see, winter pass. Speak again soon.